Hello, I'm Caitlin Manak, and as Catherine, I'm a senior leadership studies major with a concentration in social justice. And as Catherine mentioned, I worked at Higher Achievement this summer as a summer teacher. And Higher Achievement is a program that started in Washington, D.C., and it expanded to Baltimore and now Richmond. And the organization works with 5th graders through 8th graders, and one of the main goals is to prepare them for high school. And so we constantly reinforce values and the question why are you here? Well, it's for the future and high school and comprehensive learning. And this is a picture of my 6th grade social studies class, and we did a mock trial. And this was one of the practice runs. Naomi was the judge, and you can see the lawyers and the clerks and everything in this picture. We had a lot of fun sometimes. So my interest in working with kids began through Build It, through work with Youth Life Foundation my freshman year. And last spring I decided to do a thesis on teaching and leadership. And so when I heard about the Higher Achievement opportunity, I was really excited and went through with it. And so Higher Achievement was great hands-on experience that connected my previous academic classwork with my thesis that I'm undertaking right now with Dr. Hicks as my advisor. And here's some more girls, Zykia, Anaya, Charmaine, Kayla. We had a lot of great downtime in between classes, so I got to know them very well throughout the summer. So my job, we started as DC, Richmond, and Baltimore, the whole centers. It was about 100 people joined together in DC for national training. And we had national training for about a week and then split up into our cities. And during this time, we were able to collaborate with each other and create lesson plans, talk about ideas for the classroom, and that was really helpful for me because I've never taught before, so that I got some good ideas. And then throughout the summer, I got to school at 7:30, left at 5:30, and taught 4 classes by myself of 15 students. So as you can guess, that was a challenge initially and throughout the whole summer. And then 5th graders learned about communities and geography, and 6th graders learned about social justice and our judicial system. And throughout the summer, I really looked at Dewey and his book, Democracy and Education, and really dove into a very dense yet informative and valuable educational philosophy that's still really ingrained in our system today. And then also, I looked at this ideal system and then compared or thought about the implications of No Child Left Behind, read various articles, and the testing era and standards, and kind of like the tension between the testing and this ideal education system. There are a lot of tensions that exist. And so in the classroom, Dewey really promotes this concept of active learning versus passive learning, and engagement is very important. The students are agents of their own learning, and there's a whole method of doing this, and throughout my time in the classroom, it got easier. But a lot goes on when you're up there trying to manage behavior over here, and a student who just writes their name on the paper, this one's done, 2 other students are in a conversation. So there are a lot of variables in the classroom. Really like how the students are sitting, the varying levels of energy and ability, the time of day, before lunch and right after lunch were the most difficult to teach because either the students were hungry or very riled up from recess. And then it kind of takes us to the question, are teachers born or made? and we talk about this in leadership studies a lot. Are leaders born or made? And sure, there are teaching for dummies books, but how helpful can they really be? Definitely, there are certain characteristics that have to be in place. Charisma, patience is key. Adaptability, diligence, planning, communication, and then also having great mentors, teacher mentors, experience are also vital in developing good teaching techniques. And I'm actually a classroom aide in Henderson every Friday this year to try to get more hands-on experience and observation versus being the main person in the front of the room. So, all right, so higher achievement seems to be getting it right. They seem to be doing a very good job at educating kids and keeping them engaged and having fun. We had Spirit Week this summer, and this was Bama Day, which is basically crazy day. And culture is extremely important at higher achievement. They start the day off with community meeting in the morning and wrap up at night, or in the afternoon, I'm sorry. So there are shout outs and summaries, and everyone comes together, and there's a huge community feel, which really tied everything together. And that was good. And then electives, the students at the end of their full day of classes got to choose art, sports, Spanish, poetry, reading. And I think of Catherine's experience with Art 180, and that must have been wonderful for the kids to be involved with your organization. And I wish it was in DC because that would have been really cool to be involved in myself. And then they also have field trip Fridays. We went to the beach, art museums. They frequent the Smithsonian's a lot because it's in their hometown. And this is really a time, an outlet for energy and play and engagement on a different level than in the classroom, and it's as valuable as the classroom sometimes. Oops. Okay, and I mentioned community gathering already, and that's another teacher, Mr. Mike, and 2 kids, so. One thing that I found really difficult was relationship building, because as a mentor at Youth Life, it's basically one-on-one work with students versus being in charge of a classroom of 15 and managing behavior versus being able to have conversations. So community gathering time and field trip Fridays were a way for me to engage in relationships, but there's really a strain on teachers, a balance between teaching and mentoring, because the kids respect you when you're a mentor, but it takes time to become a mentor and develop that respect. So that was one of the challenges that I faced. And then this is a little outline of my the outline of my thesis. But basically, I'm going to look at how can our reform efforts try to cultivate transformational teachers, and that's a concept of taking the kids to the next level, going above and beyond, and developing those relationships and mentoring. So that's a little goodbye on one of our bus rides. So thank you very much.